The moment I watched my husband read the message I never meant him to see, I knew the marriage was already dead. What I didn't know was how quietly, how patiently he was about to destroy everything I thought I controlled. My name is Lauren Mitchell, and this is the story of how I betrayed a good man, and how he made sure I paid for it without ever raising his voice. I met Ethan Mitchell 12 years ago in Denver, Colorado. He was steady, thoughtful, the kind of man who didn't talk much, but when he did, people listened. He built a logistics consulting firm from nothing while I handled operations, contracts, and client accounts. On paper, we were partners. In real life, he trusted me with everything. That trust became my power. Our marriage looked perfect from the outside. Suburban house, joint accounts, shared dreams. But somewhere between long hours and quiet dinners, I stopped feeling seen. I told myself I deserved more. Attention, validation, control. That's when Mark came in. Mark was a regional vendor. Smooth, flattering, reckless in a way Ethan never was. He listened to my complaints. He told me I was brilliant. He told me I was trapped. I didn't notice the way Ethan started watching me instead of asking questions, the way he stopped reacting, the way silence replaced suspicion. That should have scared me, but I mistook calm for ignorance. The affair didn't start in a hotel. It started in spreadsheets. I rerouted small payments at first, nothing noticeable. Mark convinced me it was harmless, temporary. I told myself Ethan wouldn't miss it. After all, I was the one managing the numbers. Then came the messages, then the meetings, then the lies stacked so neatly they felt justified. The night everything cracked wasn't dramatic. Ethan came home early. I was in the kitchen, phone in my hand, Mark's name still glowing on the screen. I didn't hear Ethan walk in. I heard him stop. He didn't shout, didn't ask. He just stood there, long enough to read everything reflected in my face. I remember the weight in my chest, the realization that I'd underestimated him. That night, he slept in the guest room. The next morning, he kissed my forehead and said, "Have a good day." That's when I knew something worse than anger had arrived. I didn't know then that Ethan had already called an attorney. I didn't know he'd begun backing up emails, transaction logs, IP addresses. I didn't know he'd scheduled a forensic audit, quietly, legally. What I did know was that the air in the house had changed. He watched, listened, let me talk myself into deeper lies. Mark grew impatient. He wanted more money, more access. He talked about our future. Ethan never asked about Mark. That's what terrified me. When the audit report arrived, I didn't see it, but Ethan did. So did his lawyer. So did the bank. And slowly, the walls I built began closing in. There were nights after that when I lay awake beside a man who no longer felt like my husband. Ethan didn't touch me, didn't question me, didn't accuse. And somehow, that was worse than screaming. I started replaying every moment of our marriage, every quiet dinner, every time he trusted me with a signature, a password, his future. I told myself I had reasons, loneliness, neglect, feeling invisible. But in the silence of that house, those excuses collapsed. I watched him move through the mornings with precision. Coffee measured, tie knotted perfectly, his expression calm, almost peaceful. But his eyes had gone somewhere else. Somewhere cold, somewhere unreachable. That's when fear settled into my bones. I realized Ethan wasn't hurting anymore. He was finished grieving. Mark's messages grew frantic. He wanted reassurance. He wanted money moved faster. He wanted promises. And for the first time, I felt trapped between two men, one demanding more, the other saying nothing at all. I tried to provoke Ethan, a question, a confession halfway out of my mouth. He looked at me once and said, "Not everything needs a conversation." That sentence stayed with me because it wasn't anger, it was a verdict. And in that moment, I finally understood something I should have seen long ago. Ethan wasn't planning to punish me emotionally. He was planning to erase me from his life with precision. And whatever came next, I had already lost. Ethan didn't expose me right away. He waited. He filed amended ownership documents, separated finances, froze operational access without alerting me. Then he let me sign my own confession, a vendor compliance form, a routine disclosure. I signed it without reading carefully. That signature tied every transfer directly to me. Mark disappeared the moment subpoenas were mentioned. Ethan still didn't yell. He just moved out. And I knew this wasn't revenge driven by rage. This was strategy. The day Ethan filed for divorce, I received notice of termination from our own company. The charges followed weeks later. No jail, no spectacle, just accountability. Ethan kept the business. I kept my name in court records. The final time I saw him, he looked lighter, freer. He said one thing to me: "You confused my silence for weakness." Then he walked away. And that was the last day I ever had power over him. Some betrayals end in forgiveness. Others end in truth. Mine ended in silence. And justice.
If this story made you feel something, pain, anger, clarity, or strength, you're not alone. Stories like this are why Betrayal Nation exists. Please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and write a comment below. We read every single one, and your voice matters here. Your support truly helps this channel grow, so if you haven't already, subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Together, we're building a place where real stories are heard, truth is exposed, and justice finds its voice. This is Betrayal Nation. Thank you for being part of it.